Hi, everybody. Joe and Zach, your local Pittsburgh realtors, here today to talk to you about different types of offers as a buyer you might submit, um, and the type of loans, some of the terms you would have as part of your offer. So we'll kind of discuss those in general form and then maybe a few specifics about them. So typically, what sellers would like to see, and then also what buyers would like to see. So starting off with what's most attractive to the seller when they receive an offer. Typically, they would love to see a cash offer. Probably second best, they'd like to see a conventional loan, followed by FHA or VA, or on occasions USDA. USDA is typically more, not necessarily rural, but further outside of a metropolitan area. Certain guidelines or parameters like geographic guidelines go along with that. So around Pittsburgh area, I think out around Bridgeville, you can qualify, some parts of that area. So you have to be outside of a little past the suburbs, let's put it that way, for a USDA loan. And then, as I said, sellers love cash offers the most because they can typically close faster. There's no mortgage, there's no appraisal. Things that can sometimes hold up the closing process. Conventional loans are attractive to sellers because they have, usually they're a little stronger buyer, a little more, nothing's guaranteed, but the chance of a conventional loan going through is pretty high. The buyer's usually putting a little more money down. FHA and VA loans are government-backed loans, and as well as USDA. And they have some additional things on there that the conventional doesn't. The inspection and appraisal issues can come up. Typical one we see most often is they follow a little stricter guidelines for the condition of the house. If you have an older roof, if you have any kind of chipped or peeling paint, if you have a set of stairs that doesn't have a railing on it, those are all common
cracks,
things.
cement, sidewalks,
right? Tripping hazards, things like that. So those are things that if you're from the seller's perspective, if you have, which isn't uncommon nowadays to have multiple offers, if you're looking at loans that are or offers that are similar, and one is a cash loan versus a VA loan, they might trend towards the cash loan because it's less risky. That doesn't mean they won't accept a VA offer. Certainly if you're higher priced or the seller's going to net more, they're going to consider any kind of offer. But just kind of, as I said, the ideal for a seller is that. Now, from a buyer's perspective, all of those loans work fine. You just make sure that you and your agent talk about what the strengths and weaknesses of having those kind of offers are.
Every buyer's different. Not all buyers, mostly first-time buyers, or depending on your situation, you don't have 20% to put down. So an FHA is maybe your only option. So that, not that the other ones are not good for you, you're just not eligible for those kind of loans.
VA loans are great for service members and their families because they're very low down payments. I think it's very worthwhile that men and women who serve in the armed forces get some special consideration with that loan. It's really attractive from a buyer's perspective. So anytime I have somebody who's a military person and they're eligible for that VA loan, we always talk about that as one of the benefits they get from being in the service. So it's definitely worthwhile for them to investigate that and use it if they can. Probably the other thing to talk about in regard to these loans and in what's attractive to buyers, sellers, is whether it's a buyer or a seller's market. I mean, currently we're not quite as much of a seller's market as we were for a year or two.
Still pretty good though.
It's still very much in favor of the seller. But 2, 3, 4 years ago, it was more of a buyer's market. And a buyer could come in with an FHA loan and ask for 6% seller assist. And often sellers were willing to take that on. Nowadays, with so many offers and so many attractive offers for sellers, there's not as likely to offer or entertain an offer that has seller assist. In some cases, I've even seen it where the buyer offers to pay some of the seller's closing costs. They might cover the transfer tax for both sides of the transaction. They might waive inspections. They might say we'll do an inspection, but anything that comes up on the home inspection that's under X amount of dollars, $5,000, we're not going to ask for as repairs. So that's also another really good reason to have an agent who's experienced and knows the market and has, been both a buyer and a seller agent. They know what buyer and sellers are looking for, and the price is just one part of your offer. There's also the conditions. You could maybe have an attractive closing date. You could have, where you've been starting to see people say, we're going to let the sellers stay for an extra week so that they can, move into their own house. You have to, if you don't come in with the highest price or the best conditions, sometimes you can sweeten the deal for the seller in some other way.
A lot of people think that's just the higher the number, the better. It's most of the case, yeah, but there's a lot of, like Joe just said, a lot of other things you can consider to make your offer a little bit better in the eyes of the seller.
Yeah, and I think that kind of covers it in a general way. As always with our videos, if you have more specific questions, give us a call, contact us on social media, email us. We're happy to sit down with you, discuss it, show you some houses, and talk more about this topic and any of the other ones that we've done videos on. So thanks for listening.